Maboy pageant fans, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Hey Adam G, how are you all doing, guys? Well, as you can see, I am back from Japan after covering the Miss International pageant for 4 days. And sa totoo lang, guys, coming to Japan was a very last minute decision for me, as I intended to save my resources for my next international coverage, Miss Universe, which is happening 3 weeks from now. But my love for Hannah is so strong that I could not resist not covering her in the flesh, as I have covered her for the past 3 years. I thought she really had a huge chance of winning our 7th Miss International crown. Ganun nakalaki yung emotional investment ko sa kanya, similar to how I had felt for Catriona 4 years ago when she embarked on her pageant journey. So going back to Hannah, going to Tokyo, I was really focused on my goal of working and covering the pageant in those 4 days. So I really did not do much sightseeing and touring around, as I stayed within the vicinity of Tokyo Dome City where the finals night was taking place. I have been to Japan before, so I have done all the tourist stuff that one can do in going there. But for my trip recently to Tokyo, I was really focused on covering by providing you guys fresh updates in the remaining days of the pageant. So spending my 4 days there in Tokyo Dome City, it really felt like hanging around Araneta City. Yep, ganun ang naramdaman ko talaga. I liken Tokyo Dome City to Araneta City, as it's a huge leisure complex in central Tokyo consisting of the Tokyo Dome Baseball Stadium, an amusement park, a strip of shops and restaurants, and then of course the Tokyo Dome City Hall, which is like the Araneta Coliseum here in the Philippines, and Tokyo Dome Hotel, parang Novotel din. And the Tokyo Dome City Hall is the finals venue of the pageant, and it is a multifunctional hall consisting of two halls: the large hall with a capacity of 2,303 and the small one with 653 seating capacity. And right beside is the Tokyo Dome Hotel, a 43-story 4-star hotel. And this was the official hotel sponsor of the pageant in the last 4 days of the pageant. So hanging around that area really felt like hanging out in Araneta City the whole time, except that it was cold because of the winter season in Japan right now. So as you can see, in those 4 days that I went there, I just stayed in the hotel lobby, patiently waiting for the girls to arrive from their activities outside or their rooms once they assembled for their next activities. I had so much fun getting to know most of these girls, despite the directive coming from Sir Stephen, the official spokesperson of the pageant, not to do ambush interviews with the girls. Hence, as you can see, the videos that I uploaded here on my channel were mostly footages of them saying hi to me, posing for my cameras, and even tie sashes, and all these pleasantries in between. So the next day, on my second day, probably seeing that I meant no harm to the girls, I was already given the go signal by Sir Stephen to interview the girls and talk to them as much as I can. And I took this opportunity to interview Sir Stephen to really know the lowdown on what to expect in the finals night. And I'm so glad that he obliged in doing an ambush interview, so that you, my dear subscribers, would get an insider report how the organizers would choose its eventual winner. And probably because of how Sir Stephen saw my passion in covering the girls without any let up from morning till evening, he finally allowed me to attend the rehearsals the next day, provided I would not post anything on my social media afterwards. But knowing how you all have been waiting for updates about the rehearsals, he finally as well allowed me to post a video footage of it, provided it will only be for less than 20 seconds, so as not to preempt everything, and at the same time promote the ticket selling of the finals at the very last minute. And as someone who is meeting Sir Stephen for the very first time, adhering to all his requests was very important, especially if I would like to get access to the girls for all your benefit as well. So now that the pageant is over, I'm now ready to share you all the lessons that I have learned from covering the pageant. I've watched my video footages and the pageant streaming online again for me to be able to come out with a comprehensive review, judging from the observations that I have seen in the flesh and first-hand information I got from reliable sources as well in conducting the pageant vis-a-vis the results afterwards. So here we go. So I've got 5 lessons that I want to share with you. And the first one is a long preparation or training time does not guarantee one's success. Sometimes one has to have perfect timing too. When Hannah Arnold won Binibining Pilipinas International 2021 on her second attempt, all of us immediately pegged her as an instant frontrunner for the Miss International crown because of her Barbie doll looks and soft mahinhin, dainty demeanor. However, the international pageant got postponed till this year because of the COVID situation of Japan then. Hence, had to wait for another year to compete internationally. And for us pageant fans, we initially thought of it as a positive sign as this would mean a longer preparation and training to fine-tune every aspect of her candidacy in Miss International. Now, she really had that time at her disposal, but still with limitations because of our pandemic situation here in Manila last year. Remember Omicron? Exactly at the time last year, right? However, I feel in order for a candidate like Hannah to succeed, I realize it's not about the longer preparation time that would guarantee one's success. Sometimes it's all about a girl having that perfect timing or being at the right place at the right time. Sa totoo lang guys, I liken Hannah's situation here in Miss International in buying a brand new car from a car dealer shop. There is a saying that the moment a brand new car gets out of the car dealer shop, it loses its value as 30% of its value has gone to depreciation right away. So a car owner has to do everything to maintain its running condition and efficiency. And if we apply it to Hannah's case, Hannah has to keep herself in fighting form, whether through her fitness regimen, styling, wardrobe, or her overall aura to strengthen her chances in winning our 7th Miss International crown. Now, she had to make sure that she did not undertrain or overtrain for the pageant and still possess that winning glow once she sets foot in Japan. However, unfortunately, I feel it was a struggle for Hannah in the first few days of the competition in terms of styling, and I could probably attribute this to the cold weather. Hence, her first few photos in the pageant did not register the same impact or intensity as the numerous photo shoots that she had done in the past. Now, I felt like something was missing, and I kind of sensed Hannah must have peaked already before arriving in Tokyo. And it is also in this same argument where I have to bring up her evening gown look during the finals night. No doubt, the gown was very elegant and sexy. I feel that Leo Almodal gown was a gown that a British royal like Kate Middleton would wear on a gala night na alam mo yon talagang pang ganun ka extravaganza kaya ina hindi Japanese cutesy. Now, had the gown been colored light purple or turquoise, it would have been a better look. And I feel Hannah was too toned down for that color even if the color is associated with Barbie doll figurines. And I was waiting for that aha moment from her in this segment, but she did not display that compared to her pink Leo Almodal gown in Binibining Pilipinas last year. Whether it's the postponement due to the pandemic or peaking at the right time, the lost momentum on Hannah's side was very evident, and unfortunately, she was not able to get it back. And now we go to my second lesson, which is attitude and body proportions matter a lot in Miss International. Yes, guys, you all heard it from Sir Stephen Diaz when I ambush interviewed him on the second day of my coverage there in Japan. Apparently, it's not just about the Barbie looks that can make or break one candidate in Miss International. It's all about having the right body proportions and attitude for the pageant as well. Hence, this is why there is only a preliminary swimsuit evaluation to really zero in on this aspect of the competition. Hence, one's fitness regimen is very important and a girl has to look slim, toned, and fit with her body proportions. And if you check out majority of the girls who made it to top 15, most of them displayed that kind of body. Now, it is also in this reason where I wish Hannah displayed the same oomph with her catwalk and body proportions as she had during her previous Binibining Pilipinas journey. Kasi I feel she looked more fit during those national competitions. So, actually, may isa pa akong case in point. There is this one recent photo shoot of Hannah that Hannah herself uploaded on her Instagram, and I found the styling and look of Hannah there very on point. And had she displayed the same kind of fierceness and look on stage, the same way that she looked on this particular photo shoot, there might have been a chance. She would have made it to top 8. Now, when it came to attitude naman guys, this is where I feel Hannah excelled the most, as she had been the most obedient candidate, or probably one of the most obedient candidates in the pageant. And given how the organization is being run by Filipino nationalities, she really tried her best to be low-key in everything that she did. So she wouldn't be accused of anything that could really hurt her chances, which is good because the least thing we would want to hear is the organizers favoring her too much for the title. In fact, when I went there on my first day of coverage, I was accused of playing favoritism of being partial to Miss Peru because I had so many posts about Miss Peru on my Instagram feed. Na people were looking for Hannah and she was missing in action on my Instagram feed, when in fact she had already been resting in her room by the time I arrived. Guys, to be honest, I had already anticipated that Hannah would be avoiding me in the pageant, as she had told me days before she left for Japan when I bumped into her during Samantha Panilio's studio opening, that there was an email that was sent by the organizers to them that all of them delegates are barred from granting media interviews during the course of the pageant. So I immediately understood that, and I figured Hannah was being obedient, and by doing so would strengthen her chances of winning our 7th Miss International crown. That was her plan, to go low key or low profile, and it worked. So I was just playing all along in Hannah's game plan, and my followers took it all the wrong way. So guys, more than pleasing you guys here on my platform, I will also I hope you guys realize that I will also do everything in my power to protect our girls in the competition. Remember, some of the Japanese organizers who were part of the judging panel during the finals night, and they would know which girl would be put in the semifinals in consideration of this very crucial aspect of the competition. And now we go to my third lesson, which is winning best in swimsuit does not guarantee an automatic spot in the top 8. Guys, it's one result that I had a hard time figuring out, but it all makes sense now. Judging the top 15 in swimsuit was not a matter of who looked the fittest and got the best abs in the competition. Miss United Kingdom won best in swimsuit but did not advance to the next round, so I figured the Japanese organizers must have been looking for something else. I figure only a small portion of their swimsuit performance was taken into consideration in picking the top 8, and I feel it's a summation of how these girls have done overall in the duration of the pageant instead. So apparently, when I asked Sir Stephen about this, the Best in Swimsuit award was chosen pala during the preliminary competition, and there is no rule that says that whoever won Best in Swimsuit during preliminary competition would automatically enter the top 8. So there, for future reference, the Best in Swimsuit award is being chosen during the preliminary competition and not during the finals night. Now we go to my fourth lesson, which is the Japanese is not yet ready to crown a woman of color from Africa. Although this was the first time in so many years that the pageant has adopted modern elements in its edition with a huge LED and glossy backstage, it still remains conservative in choosing its winner. When Hannah was stopped short in top 15, my allegiance immediately shifted to Miss Peru and Miss Cabo Verde, especially after the latter gave a very heartfelt speech about inclusivity and diversity. I thought Cabo Verde Stephanie Amado could finally win for Africa in the history of Miss International, especially if the pageant wants to attract mainstream media attention around the world, as there had been no African woman crowned for this title, like I've said. However, I feel Miss Cabo Verde Stephanie Amado suffered the same fate as Patch Magtanong in 2019, wherein she tackled a topic that I feel was too strong for a conservative Japanese culture. Yes, it definitely resonated with all of us here in the Philippines because we are all heavily westernized here, but I feel it did not sit well with the Japanese. And I reckon as it is kind of questioning the beauty standards in Japan. So considering that the majority of the members of the judging panel are in their 50s above, I do get the sentiment despite the powerful message that Cabo Verde's speech had. Had it been with a different set of judges sitting in the panel like Perez Hilton, for sure, it would have resonated well. And as for Hannah's case, I feel the organizers gave Hannah a very fair chance in winning the crowd. But sadly, the judges this year were leaning towards someone non-Asian given that Thailand's Vinci return has been reigning for the past 3 years already. Hence, I figured the judges would like to give it to someone belonging from a different continent. And this what makes the pageant system so unpredictable because you really could not say or predict what the judges are thinking all the time. So we just have to be grateful that Hannah still placed in the top 15 for our country and was the lone Asian candidate to do so in this year's edition. It's still a huge achievement for us and we should be grateful for it. Had we been shut out as well, like our Asian neighbors, that would have been more devastating to us. So let's choose to be grateful and count our small wins and little blessings instead. And now we go to my last lesson, which is like what I've said in my previous live commentary. You can root for your girl, but do not expect her to win all the time. I admit this is the biggest lesson I have learned from covering this pageant. When Hannah did not advance to top 8, my heart really sank. I was disappointed with the results. But I reckon we can't always have Miss Philippines win every pageant in the world right now, as the other contestants are also training hard to win the pageant. And I would like to thank the Miss International organization for allowing me to make this realization. Yeah, guys. Yes, I agree with you all that the results are very debatable and polarizing, but I also realize would we want Miss International to manipulate the result in order to please us fans or respect the results based on the judges' votes? I feel the Miss International organization has always been the latter. They have integrity, and this what makes them a very credible pageant. As for me, I have to start hyping lesser girls in the international arena and just let them enjoy their time without coming out with so many paasa or overly sugar-coated captions which can make fans go crazy. So I hope you don't mind me asking if I post more photos of other delegates on my Instagram account as I cover Miss Universe next. Kasi guys, I don't want to... what I learned from Hannah's experience is that I don't want to focus too much on Celeste and the girls or her successors coming after her next year because it's one painful lesson that I learned from my coverage here in Miss International that you can always root for your girl as always, but do not expect that she will win all the time.